Medal of Honor recipient is coming to ODU this week to speak. Retired Army Colonel Jacobs is recognized as one of the most decorated soldiers of his generation. The two-time Vietnam War veteran will participate in ODU's Waldo Family Lecture Series on international relations. Jacobs will offer a pointed critique of U.S. foreign policy, which he says is adrift.
And it didn't start at 9/11. It was before that, too. I think when the Soviet Union dissolved, we became a bit unfocused about what the threats were to our national security, and we missed the boat in many respects. We have a multitude of threats, but are not focused on articulating what they are, and therefore how we're going to deal with them.
Jacobs' speech is this Wednesday at 7 o'clock in the North Cafeteria of ODU's Webb University Center. The lecture is free and it's open to the public.